Toronto FC advanced to the MLS final for the first time in franchise history with a historic win over the Montreal Impact. A functional cure for AIDS has been announced and human testing is underway. Russia calls for humanitarian aid in Aleppo. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm ALUEN NAVARRO FENOY, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. A Toronto sports team made history last night. A record crowd of 36,000 fans packed the BMO field to watch Toronto FC take the Montreal Impact. Going into the game, Toronto trailed and needed to win big to advance to the finals.
Bates Shaw with a good ball into the middle, a stopping header, and it's in!
TFC scored 2 goals 2 minutes apart in extra time to seal it. They won 7-5 on aggregate. This is the first conference championship in team history and the first time a professional sports team in Toronto has clinched a spot in championship since the Blue Jays won in the World Series in 1993. They'll host the Seattle Sounders on December 10th, becoming the first Canadian team to go for the title. In World AIDS Day, and fitting that we've got news about a study that's giving people a lot of hope for future. A surprising study involved an antibody used to treat Crohn's disease has shown promising results. Human trials are about to begin. The procedure would allow patients to get an infusion every few months rather than take a daily cocktail of medications. The work was conducted at the National Institution of Allergy and Infectious Disease in Bethesda, Maryland. Overseas, Russia is calling for increased humanitarian aid among airgoing airstrikes in Aleppo. About 250,000 people are still trapped in the Syrian city. Russia says many of them are in need of medicine and food and is urging the UN and Syria's Red Crescent to provide both. Russia also says it will be scaling back on its contribution to the attacks on Aleppo by sending no warplanes to the area for 44 days. The Syrian government, its allies, and rebel forces have been fighting for control over Aleppo since 2012. Thousands of people have been killed and the city is in ruins. Investigators are confirming the plane carrying the Brazilian soccer team probably ran out of fuel. They say the pilot of the plane radioed that he was running out of fuel and needed to make an emergency landing. Thousands of people gathered yesterday to remember and celebrate the lives of the team members. The stadium was lit with thousands of lights as mourners gathered for a memorial service. Some of the players who didn't travel with the team also took part. 71 people died when the plane crashed into the mountainside on Monday. The ashes of Fidel Castro are en route to the final destination in Cuba, where his funeral will be held. People line the streets of Santa Clara to say their final goodbye to the former Cuban president. A cross-country tour of his ashes started in Havana and is on his way to Santiago for the funeral on Sunday. The former leader died on Friday. Russian President Vladimir Putin says the November 2015 doping scandal was a blessing in disguise. Putin says Russia is planning to have the most advanced anti-doping program by the start of 2017. Russia was banned from international athletics after an investigation uncovered evidence of doping and corruption. Its track and field and weightlifting teams were excluded from the Rio Olympics in August. The entire Paralympic team was banned from the Games this September. Baltimore police are searching for a man who they say killed 2 people and injured 4 in a shootout at a restaurant in the city. Police say the shooting could be connected to another crime as an act of retaliation. One man shot multiple times was pronounced dead at the scene. Another died at hospital. Police say they have a vague description of the lone gunman who's still at large. In Britain, the Bank of England has released a new polymer bills, much like ours, but bizarre ingredients that has been recently discovered has sparked petitions against them. Our reporter Britnei has the story.
The new British fiver is smaller, stronger, and made of polymer, just like our bills. They're both water resistant and flexible, and new findings reveal both the notes contain tallow, a derivative of animal fat. specifically from cows. Innovia Film supplies polymer for banknotes to 23 countries, including Canada. They said the tallow inside the bills helped them become more anti-static. Since the discovery, there's been an immediate outcry in Britain. An online petition garnered over 100,000 signatures. We hit the halls at Humber to ask students what they feel about the fat. How do you feel about that?
I don't think that's right. Personally, I think they should find a different material or like different substance that they should use.
We already kill so much of them. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. We're just using more of the animal. It's more of a good thing than a bad thing.
Why would we want to be holding that and using that on an everyday basis when it has animal fat in it, when we could be using literally anything else for money? So that's sad.
Fat, it's stretchy, goopy, mushy, that kind of stuff. So you don't really picture it as being in the dollar bill and being able to put it in the water and being indestructible and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, I just find that kind of weird.
I really hate about it because in our religion we worship cows, right? Indians actually. So we are not allowed to eat beef and all that stuff. Even when I see it, I don't feel good about it. I feel pukish.
Innovia has said it's working on a potential solution. Brittany Bilhete, Humber News.
It's a day of celebration in Barbados. It's the 50th anniversary of independence for the island, and Prince Harry and Rihanna were there to party.
You should be proud of the country that your parents and grandparents have built.
Thousands gathered for the Golden Anniversary mega concert. Barbadian talent sang and danced to celebrate the 50 years of independence from Britain. Barbados native Rihanna was a big star of the night. About 20,000 people were at the event to celebrate the big day. For the first time ever, the world's most watched fashion show has taken place in the City of Light. The Victoria's Secret model hit the runway last night in Paris. The highlight of every show is the fantasy bra. This year was made of 9,000 gemstones, including diamond emeralds and 18-karat gold. It's worth about $3 million. It's time of year to rock around the Christmas tree again. The Rockefeller Center held its annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony last night in New York.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Tens of thousands gathered to watch the 50,000 lights come to life. New York Mayor Bill Del Blasio, Alec Baldwin, and Kate McKinnon were on hand to light the 94-foot Norway spruce. Tony Bennett and Dolly Parton were also a part of the star-studded event. The Rockefeller Center tree has been a tradition in New York City since the Great Depression. Humber students are also getting into the festive season and getting gifts for their loved ones. But being on a student budget makes it challenging this time of the year. Our reporter Tyler Bloomfield has a story.
That's not the sound of jingle bells. It's the change students carry around to skate by this holiday season. It's beginning to look a lot like exam season, and Humber is decking the halls with festive decorations. Students, on the other hand, are buying gifts and trying to make sure none of their loved ones get left out in the cold.
I get by. It's not easy. You got to pick who you're buying gifts for, I guess, who you love the most. But yeah, it's hard. But I mean, putting yourself through school is most important to get a job. So.
A study by the Center for American Progress reported that millennials will make the same projected salary as they would have in the 1980s. Once you factor in inflation, students are strapped for cash. Albana Luca, financial controller and instructor at the National Academy College, says that the responsibility to give young people a fair playing field falls on the federal government.
That the minimum age has to have 2 levels. One level for people that have no college diploma, and it has to be 11.75, I think, or something like that. And if you have a college diploma, you shouldn't be equal to somebody that doesn't have a college diploma if you need to take an entry job in your field. The whole purpose it is you come to Humber to take an entry job in your field, not to go and work at Tim Hortons.
Buying gifts for the holiday season can make students feel a little overwhelmed.
A little bit stressed out because it means it's exam time for me. But also excited because my family gets together and everyone's happy because it's a joyful time.
A tight budget can force students to get creative with their gifts.
Yeah, a lot of macaroni necklaces, a lot of good homemade stuff.
I made my own snow globes, and I got little figurines that represented each person. That was pretty good.
Humber students will be looking to pull a wad of cash out of their stocking this year. But if not, it looks like macaroni necklaces and do-it-yourself snow globes will be the hottest gift of the season. Tyler Bloomfield, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Ruth Escarlin will have your 3-day forecast.
It's cloudy, windy, and there's a chance of rain, so keep your warm jacket and your umbrella handy. But don't go anywhere because after the break, we'll have your 3-day forecast.
But first, 2 tiger cubs are getting a second chance at life after being abandoned by their mother. After an hour being born, the cubs were rejected by their mother, so zoo staff went to save them. They warmed them up and took them home. For now, the cubs are staying in the zookeeper's living room, along with a new friend, Leon, the dog. He's taken a job of the surrogate mother to the cubs. They play and cuddle, and when Leon gets too rough, he gets a slap in the face.